Piotr Ćwik. I'm a founder and a partner in VC30 Partners. That's a fund manager which manages currently 2 venture capital funds which are operating in multi-stage investing, so from the early stages, so seed and startup, and also the expansion and growth stage. So we provide the financing for the companies from the beginning to this maturity stage of development. If you've planned to do something, I mean to start a company from the very beginning, so usually you don't have a company yet, so there's some kind of idea, I would say. So first of all is to check whether this idea is made maybe by someone else, or is it completely new, innovative, and so that's one thing. So first to check whether you don't reinvent the wheel, I would say, because I used to meet some startups. They say that they had a great idea, but then after some checking in a Google, I could find in 10 minutes something which is identical. So that's a problem. That's a problem. If you go to the investor, say that you have an excellent idea, and then the investor said, but guys, I know 10 companies and maybe in 1 or 2 I already invested. So it's good to check thoroughly the market and the potential copycats or the competition. So that's I would say that's the most important thing when even thinking about the startup business. So that's I would say that's essential. Then the other thing, if you invented something, you've got the idea, do you have a competence to do it? Because even if you get an investor, so it's rather you can't count on only the money that the investor will engage in your company, because at the very early stage you can count on maybe 1 million or even less money. So it's impossible to hire the whole staff, professional staff, for the money. So the team is very important, and actually that's the essential thing, to have the as complete team as possible. Usually the team is incompleted, so there are some places, there are some people that should be hired for the team, but the team should be competent and also enthusiastic about the idea and the project and the company. So if the team is incomplete, and if the team, from the point of view of the investor, is incapable to carry on with the business, it's rather impossible to make the investor invest in a company. So simply, I will say something maybe controversial, but I meet a lot of startups which say or maybe think they have some idea about how to do businesses like startups from the point of view of getting money from investors in Silicon Valley. You always hear from startups that if they are in Silicon Valley, they will probably get $100 million and they will be another Skype. But in maybe European or especially Polish reality, when investors would like to give them 1% of the amount that they would get when they were in Silicon Valley, so that's why it's impossible. So don't think like that, because yes, of course, in Silicon Valley there are far more investors like venture capital funds, but think about it that way, that there's also a huge amount of startups. So the competition from the point of view of startups is cannot be compared to European or especially Polish reality. So maybe it's possible to get bigger money from the investor as a startup, but the competition, so to win the money could be far more complicated, far more hard than in this reality. So maybe you should think about that you're a local company, so maybe it's good to start from some point, not to think about 100 million, something like that, just to start with some money, with clear idea and clear growth plan, and then to think how to switch or shift to a different stage of the company maturity, and then think about some maybe private equity or bigger or branch or other financial investor abroad, rather than live with the dreams which not always and usually probably not will be satisfied. So that's my advice.